Fairest way to declare the winner of the Scudetto. The fairest way if you had to pick one.
I don't choose anybody, honestly.
But if you
even as you a fan, I wouldn't give. I don't like
Me?
Take a name out of the hat.
No.
Milan's gonna end up winning.
I'll tell you.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Serie A audio experience with IFTV.
Wow. It's a quiet setting and atmosphere today.
There's no audience. So.
I'm just
No,
I'm enjoying the
we
silence.
put the spectator behind the wall.
We
Spettatori.
put all of our stuff up. Guys, welcome back. Thank God we had the Serie A that was actually on and was actually played. Fun weekend that we didn't know if it was going to happen or if it was not going to happen. We got Peter and Michael over here who look a little lifeless. But the
Nah, it's early in the morning. We're doing this podcast in the morning. We usually do it after the games, but you know.
So they're not morning people.
Oh.
They didn't show up yesterday. They didn't show up
When
today.
it's not convenient, they're not morning people. But when it's good, when the good is, the news is very good, then, they're very sparkling.
Typical Juventus host. There's nothing for the rest of us. You know,
You see, we got to do everything. We got to win the game and we got to bring up
Where's the
food.
croissants? Where's the croissants?
Don't bring
I'm
me
saying
to the
we.
Juventus squad.
He's trying to categorize you.
Yeah.
No breakfast. I mean, we're treated worse.
You can
than-
We got coffee over there.
I had to buy this coffee.
Hey, you can put me on the bandwagon of Juventus hater, but I'm not a Juventus fan, okay?
You mean Inter hater.
I'm sorry. Inter hater.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey,
Okay.
listen, I was with Milan. Remember we played tennis?
Yeah.
It was Milan versus
Yeah.
Inter, and we won there too, right?
All the time. There is no question about it.
We played this weekend. We played some tennis. I have to say, we have to give Antonio credit where it's due. You are amazing at tennis.
Well, how much credit? If you play
No,
for 4
no.
years
I mean,
straight,
no.
you're going to be good at everything, no?
You played for like 50 years.
Bro, you
okay.
bro,
then
you play for
forget it.
3-4 years soccer. You're not
Okay,
You're
but
not
I couldn't even
great.
hold, I couldn't even hold the racket.
no.
though.
You said if you play
Yeah.
at 3-4 years straight. How long have you played football for?
But the thing is,
I agree.
tennis is more of a 1v1 sport. You know
So?
what I'm saying?
So
So you get
skill.
more of it.
Listen, we have to give Antonio credit where it's due. He was playing against Peter over here, so we came and we recorded
Peter's
some
new at
stories.
it too. So.
Antonio, your serves are incredible. People love the videos that we
They
posted.
did?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Had-
We're going to redo. Peter is practicing. We have to do a rematch.
He's
I
pretty
haven't
good.
really practiced.
Peter's
I
been
played that one game. I'm practicing.
That was your first time?
No, you
Well,
did
I
it for a
played
few months,
before.
right?
No,
Or
I haven't.
less?
I
Or
haven't
even
played in since we last played one in the summertime.
more? Yeah, you're being a little kid over here that barely plays.
But the
What's
thing
wrong
is,
with you?
Antonio set it up because he called me and he goes,
He knows.
Don't lie. He's a liar. That's a lie.
he called me. He goes, I'm gonna go beat the shit out of Peter over here. You should come and record it.
Yeah, I held my own.
But it was fun, guys. The games. Obviously, Juventus took the derby. Could be the last game of the Campionato with no fans.
It could be, yeah.
How do we feel about the match?
Who's going first? Because this is
I am. Okay. I was here to try to enjoy the game, not taking sides with anything and
okay,
anybody.
okay, over
Inside
here.
my heart, I
Yeah,
said,
right.
let's Inter lose because I'm more interested in watching a counter reaction than anything else. And sure enough, okay, that imbecile of Sarri, he puts Dybala in and the game totally changed, regardless of Ramsey scoring the first goal. The guy does not really understand how valuable this kid is not for Juventus. This guy is like a world-class soccer player. How the hell you sit Dybala and you leave Douglas Costa or anybody on his position? So Dybala comes in, the game totally changes. Chemistry, number of chances. The guy is unbeatable. The guy, I would put him on the same level of Messi.
I mean,
maybe not.
Jeez.
I will put him on the same level of Messi.
you also
We all
put
know
Cassano on the same level as
Surround-
Messi.
Cassano's
Higher than Messi.
So
Jesus.
surround Dybala with the players that Messi has around. Dybala is a world-class champion. There is no question about it.
Okay.
Okay? So now let's go to the game. Inter played a little better on the first half, not because the Juventus allowed them to play a little better. Okay? So they were outnumbered on the midfield by the Inter squad. but they were not really, they were not going straight into the goal.
Lateral passes.
Lateral, and then from time to time they made couple, try, but nothing very sterile, I will say. The intensity was there a little bit, but Conte's got nothing to show for this 3-5-2. The way he set it up. Lukaku, unwatchable. Okay, Lautaro, forget that. Was he playing yesterday? I
don't think so.
I don't remember him touching the ball more than 4 or 5 times. It's either because he had what's his name, Bonucci on, Delete. So they totally just shut the door or just eliminate them from the game. I didn't even know that. I mean, were they on the field? I don't remember them touching that many balls. You watch the game, P. Mm-hmm. It was a disgrace. But on the second half, everything changes thanks to the goal. A little lucky though, from Ramsey. He went through 20 legs over there and.
The scramble, whatever.
But Inter is supposed to have this spectacular defense, and all of a sudden, 4 people in front of Ramsey, they can really stop a shot like that. Even with Andanovic. It happens, I know.
No, it was a scramble, but you want to continue or you want me to say?
No, I think. Go ahead.
Let me say one more thing. So
I know
Mike,
you still got stuff.
Let me say some more thing. Mike, this morning, all of a sudden, yesterday was all pumped up. Inter, we're going to kick Juventus ass and all the stuff.
I heard
all
that.
Of a
I
sudden,
heard
that. I can confirm.
The burger was burning at the bottom, so he had a flipper all the way, boom, 180. So all of a sudden, now it's no longer an Inter fan. And it's what? You're a Juventus fan now,
Lazio.
Mike? Oh,
Lazio.
All right, Lazio. Okay, so brace for next week. We have another team that Mike is going to pick up.
First of all, I didn't say that. I wanted Inter to win, but let me just say what I thought about the match. Okay, first of all, what Inter did yesterday was really embarrassing. That wasn't a representation of supposedly the best derby in Italy. With what happened at the Meazza, how Inter lost, that was a very bad performance. I was like, okay, at the Allianz with no fans, they have the advantage. Handanovic is back. They're gonna be fighting. They're gonna be spitting blood. They know they lost the first one, so they can go to Torino and really show it. They're gonna cut the difference in points. What we saw, Inter, that the lack of hunger, lack of passion, no tactics. Lautaro, Lukaku, they weren't playing. The midfield was horrible. The defense wasn't good. It was just. I don't even know what to say. This team's supposed to be fighting for the Scudetto. You can't be going out like that, regardless of these top players that they have or whatever. They didn't even show hunger. You don't have to be a top player to show hunger. They didn't do anything. They had one shot, I think, from Eriksson, which...
No, Brozovic had a shot in the first half. He had a great shot.
Yo,
and then Eriksson.
They didn't do anything to fight. Juve controlled the game at the end of the
They showed nothing.
No, but they...
I think it was a tale of 2 halves, really. I can understand what you're saying.
so.
The first half, Inter played.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't have the shots on
Inter
goal,
had better
but
chances
they had
than Juve
some,
did in the
But
first half.
had some
everything
chances.
stopped at the edge
Yeah,
of the box.
but that's not true.
Inter 100% had more chances than Juve did. On target,
they
Brozovic
didn't
had a
give
shot that
anything.
almost went in. That Chesney made a great save.
But
Juve had a couple corner kicks that were close, but nothing like theirs.
They didn't follow through with their chances. What I understand what you're saying as far as shots on goal. Yes, Inter didn't have shots on goal. But if you saw the first half, Inter played. Juventus had chances. It was actually an entertaining game in one sense, where you saw both teams playing out. And the only thing is with Inter going to Inter, man, Conte. Every time he's played a team that is better than Inter, it's kind of like
Let him
finish.
I knew,
let him finish.
but they've always said that. He's always taken like this controlled approach to the game where, okay, let's just maintain what we're doing. Let's keep the ball in front of us. Let's let the other team play, and then we'll counter. Instead of saying, no, we're Inter, we have certain players. Let's play
take the game to them.
Exactly.
Right?
Let's take the game to them.
Agree.
And it's happened with Borussia Dortmund. It's happened with Juventus, Barca. So all these top games, and you say Inter kind of like said, okay, we accept that you guys are better or you guys are playing better than us, and we're going to just defend and play our scrappy game. Even down to his formation. So you have Eriksson, who, okay, when you first signed him, we would say, okay, let him ease in. But now that you've had 3 months, you have to find a position for Eriksson. I'm sorry. You cannot keep on playing this 3-5-2. Eriksson does not fit in this system. And we knew this when we went after him, that he did not fit in the system. So I find it very hard that Conte, or Marotta rather, gets Eriksen without Conte's okay. So Conte knew what he was getting in Eriksen. Eriksen cannot play the mezzala position, the 8 position. He's not quick enough. He doesn't have the hunger that Conte wants. That
wait a minute.
that being
Conte
said,
doesn't want-
listen,
didn't
no,
want Eriksen?
listen, no, I didn't say that. I said the opposite. Eriksen has to be on the field. He's a player that can make something happen out of nothing on set pieces, on breaking through the defensive lines. He's going to be able to give that ball, that creativity that Inter lacks. Inter's too stagnant. You already can read what the Inter defense and what their offense is going to do. We move the ball well, even in the back. You saw with Handanovic in, it changes the perspective of how we advance the ball. We didn't move the ball in the first half. I think what happened was once Juventus scores that goal, yes, I agree it was lucky, but a goal's a goal, then it kind of like all started to fall apart. And then Dybala comes in and scores an unbelievable goal. I mean, what a performance coming off the bench.
For the defense.
It's not an embarrassment.
Very
You have to tip your hat. You have to tip your hat.
more
sometimes.
Dybala
I will dock $2 million for all of those
Ashley
3
Young.
players that he went by.
I saw a hilarious tweet
million.
though.
2
It was
million.
like Ashley Young ran so far away. Dybala beat him so bad that Ashley Young had to buy a ticket to come back into the stadium.
But listen, besides that, but Ashley Young played a pretty good game.
Yeah, he did. He wasn't bad.
before,
He wasn't
before
bad.
that.
Until Dybala came in.
So it was a quick 1-2 punch to Inter, and Inter didn't have the answers for it. I agree. Lukaku, Lautaro. If you want to be considered the best comes out when you're playing versus the top team.
Exactly.
You have to be able to win that ball, get that ball, do whatever you can to get that ball. But it's just upsetting for a lot of Inter fans because not necessarily this is the year that you're gonna win, but this is the year where you have a team and you have to fight. You know what I'm saying? So our 2 worst performances were versus Juventus, and then on the other hand,
And Lazio.
So now
Lazio
let's let it go. No, but I wouldn't say that it was a bad performance. I think Inter Lazio, the game, whoever would have won would have been okay. Versus Juventus, but complete opposite. First half one thing, second half just a disgrace. And now let's go to Juventus. I think Juventus, Sarri made a big decision leaving Pjanic on the bench. He said, "You don't listen to what I tell you to do, sit down." The first half you saw they're starting to click, and it was pretty impressive that Juventus, every time they verse Inter, they have their best game as well. So in part, Inter played like shit, and Juventus played really, really good. I think more so they followed Sarri's system, the quick 1-2 passes.
Don't call it Sarri's system.
Yes, it is.
Doesn't
It
exist,
is.
this system.
So being able to move the ball quick, less than 1 or 2 touches, and when you have these top players and they fit into the system, it's scary for the opposition. I mean, you have Ronaldo, every time he touches the ball, Douglas Costa, the guy is Flash, right? That's his nickname. He's unbelievable. And then you have the luxury of having Dybala come off the bench. Okay, I understand. I say the same thing. I'm like, how do you keep Dybala on the bench? But listen, Sarri keeping him on the bench and putting him in the second half, he eventually scores the goal and he makes the right decision. So you cannot.
Sarri said it was a tactical decision.
Yeah.
Where
Don't
the
give
night.
him credit,
1 second.
please.
I'm
Don't
not
give
giving
him credit.
He's
What
just
I'm
repeating
saying,
what he said.
I'm just explaining why he kept him on the bench. Which his reasoning was, me and the staff looked at who we were going to start. Is Cuadrado going to be the right wing, or is he going to be the right back? And he said, if we start him in the right wing, then we have to take Douglas Costa and Dybala, sacrifice a position, and we're more defensive if we put that approach. So he said, let's put Cuadrado right back, and he said he wanted to use Dybala as his pawn to open it up in the second half.
Exactly.
It was a decision that we're going to throw Dybala in at the moment where the game could be exploited.
Well, that's what it is.
From what Sarri said.
When legs are tired, now you have a tricky.
Yeah, but
quick
what
guy.
happened if Inter will have a score first, and then you put yourself in an
Well, of course,
disadvantage?
it's
position.
football. That's part
of-
And
that's
then
part of
Inter
the game.
close down the walls over
Of course,
there.
it's a
and then that's
decision.
it.
Sometimes
that's a stupid
it's like
thing.
what I just as on the top of my head, it's like when Inzaghi threw in another striker against Juventus and he scored. Yeah, it played out. It worked. If it doesn't, then you look at him and you say, "Oh wow, he screwed
was
up."
stupid,
It's football.
yeah.
You can't predict
No, it's
it.
not football. Hey, listen,
not.
Agnelli,
All right,
if
we're
you're
talking about
watching-
tennis.
Hey, Agnelli, if you're watching this podcast, get rid of this Sarri, please.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
just
guy's
a
in
winner.
first place. He's just
Yeah,
beating
It's
Inter.
not worth to keep a guy like that. He doesn't have a system. He just makes things up,
Okay.
you know, the way they come. Doesn't
All right,
have a system.
my perspective. I agree with a lot of what Peter said, and I wrote it down. I watched the highlights again because yesterday I was too emotional when I was watching the game, and I was watching.
Oh, my God.
I was watching it back.
Got to
and-
prescribe him some.
Yeah, some Prozac. or maybe something stronger than Prozac. It was...
How about just knock him out?
I almost did a bicycle kick on his head just to stop him.
I wouldn't have blamed you. But I agree with Peter. Tale of two halves. 100%. The first half, Inter was there. It was back and forth. Juventus were not looking great. Their only chances were really coming off set pieces with De Ligt and Bonucci. But Brozovic had a shot from outside the box. Inter, Ashley Young was tearing it up on the left side. Even Candreva. They were putting Juventus in difficulty, in my opinion. And so I felt like it was there. But again, the same symptom, I'm going to call it, of Inter, where in the second half, Conte's teams die out. We've seen it multiple times this year where there's a drop in tension. Like we were saying, there's no fans. We thought that was going to charge Inter up. It felt like they were less charged up by this. There was not that same second half. They did not come out to win that game. It felt like with Barcelona, with Dortmund, where the momentum shifted against them. And yes, I agree that the goal took out the rest of the soul for Inter, but that's got to be the opposite of what you do. When they score a goal, it should be your momentum to push forward. And I felt like we've seen on multiple occasions Conte's teams do the same thing.
Except against AC Milan, that they were down 2-0, then they went up
Levels,
by luck.
levels.
with
But
a
I
lot of
remember
luck,
what I
scored
said.
for two.
Remember what I said. It's when we versed the better teams.
The better team. Okay.
So I agree with Peter on that, and I agree with the Eriksen. I think Eriksen, how you're not starting this player, and he's changing his positioning. You know, he doesn't know where to play him. I think it was clear that Conte, in my opinion, Conte would have preferred to have Vidal because that's more of his player.
No.
But wait,
Yeah,
one
for
second.
sure.
And you know, buying Eriksen for 20 million when you could have him for free in the summer, and paying him 10 million in wages now, in a place where you still don't have your idea of where you're
And
going to
you're
play
not
him,
using him.
seems crazy to
I'm
me.
happy for that.
This
Let
player,
them spend the money
and
like
I
that.
agree with Peter. Eriksen is a player that must play. I understand it's a luxury to put him on, you know, in the second half from the bench. No,
I
this
have the
player
solution,
needs
Marco,
to
I have
play.
the solution for that. An $11 million coach, he does have Vecino on the starting lineup and Eriksen on the bench. Hello? Vecino does not belong on the starting lineup. Eriksen does. You spend the money, you did all the sacrifice, all that press and all that stuff and the build up. You get him over there and you sit him on the bench. How many times did I say that Inter is going to have a problem sitting all of those people on the bench?
It's
now,
not about sitting people on the bench.
Yeah, Sanchez comes in only for 10, 15 minutes.
that's part of the game.
Eriksen
Yeah.
comes in for 10, 15 minutes. You have a lot of players that you bought. You stuck your neck out. Oh, we do not have
Alexis
a
Sanchez
large
was
enough
free.
squad to compete against Juventus. You go on the market, you buy all of those players, you put them over there, you sit them on the bench, you use them for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. At the end of the day, Conte doesn't know how to manage those top players. End of the story.
But let me finish off.
Vecino does not belong in the starting lineup. Does not have the quality fit. Put Eriksen
Yeah,
over
but
there.
he has the muscle. That's the thing.
Okay,
He has the
he
muscles.
doesn't have the brain muscle.
Yeah, he needs some brain too. You need some brain. You're right.
Let me say for you, that's Inter, and I agree. Lautaro and Lukaku, again, I've said it before, in the top
Unwatchable.
games, in the big games, I feel like they went missing. Bonucci and De Ligt were perfect. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. They did.
Bonucci threw Lukaku off the ball.
Yeah, I
multiple
mean,
times.
I was very disappointed with Lukaku and Lautaro in the game that they played. Most of all from Inter, those were the two guys that I looked at that I thought were
You would
supposed
be
to be the
able to-
reference points to be able to push Juve in difficulty with a defense that's been put in difficulty a lot, Juventus, and too far back. But anyway, for Juventus, I think it was finally one of the first times this season that as a Juventus fan, you could be proud to watch the team. It was finally life. It finally felt like the team understood what was on the line. Many times this year, we're looking at lifeless, dead performances where Bonucci doesn't know what's happening. A lot of the guys are not synchronized. And I agree with Peter again. Dropping Pjanic from the lineup, who was not doing what Sarri wanted, was a ballsy move. I was pissed when I saw him. But guess what? Bentancur had one of his best games that he's ever played. And we saw, especially in the second half when Dybala came in, the 1-2 touches, the quick movements, all these kinds of things that led into them doing their work. And even Higuain, who did a lot of work off the ball, laying it off and allowing Juventus to move. Finally, the midfield of Juventus helped them. Finally, they were part of the team. And I think that was the key. And this is the Juventus that you must see in Champions League. You have to see this team. So
wait,
from
wait, 1 second,
so
Marco, 1 second.
I'm happy to see that.
Pete, did you finish
Finally,
To finish
Saudi
up-
ball was seen.
Yeah, sorry, Bob.
No, that
Yeah,
was.
to finish up this whole thing with Inter, the solution I think is there. I think it's Conte does not want to embarrass himself from switching from the 3-5-2 to a different formation. So maybe the 3-4-1-2 should be what he should be doing. So to get this other guy right on right behind those two, Lukaku. And you know what? I noticed something on Inter that nobody's been talking about it.
What is it?
Since Sensi's been injured, all of those equilibrium on the forward line and the attacking line that Inter has is falling apart. Barella, it's a great midfielder. Don't get me wrong.
He's not as creative as
He doesn't have the same character as Sensi,
It does not have the nastiness that Sensi has to take the ball to the opposite player and just embarrass
He's a different,
them.
yeah, because he's a different type of player.
That's what I'm saying.
Barella's a hardworking player. I mean, that guy can run for hours.
He's got quality. He's got quality.
And that's
feet, but
what's
it's
good.
Not,
He's got
Sensi, it's totally different.
well, it's different. Sensi is more shifty, creative,
That's
more
what I'm saying.
offensive-minded player.
Cassano
Barella
calls this
has the
palleggiatori.
technical ability.
Cassano calls those kind of
Ball
players
handler.
ball handler. Other people, they have a lot of speed, but they lack in brain.
No, it's not even lacking brain. It's your
just a
position.
different kind
It's
of,
it's
And it's
of
Conte.
course.
At this point,
but-
I blame Conte too. Just don't be embarrassed by changing once in a while. But
that's what I was saying.
I wanted
was-
to pose a question since you just said that. Is Conte up for question in the eyes of Inter fans? Because I already saw people saying that
he failed.
at the end of
He
the
failed
season,
he failed on the major on the part that he was supposed to be
they're
succeeding.
out of Champions League. They haven't performed against the top teams. We've seen man management, at least with Eriksen and with the lineup. He hasn't been able to adapt, and he's always been one that says a great coach is like a tailor. He adapts to the tools at his disposal. As an Inter fan, do you feel like there could be a question mark for Conte this season?
Question mark. Listen, where Inter has come from, yes, you always question your authority. You always say, "Oh, why did he do that? Why did he do that?" But in the end, look where Inter is now, and look where Inter has come from. So
Where did us come from?
With also a lot better
They
players.
were second and third.
we have
What did
where?
they do?
When we were fourth last year.
Okay,
They
fourth
invested a
for
lot more
what?
money.
The
though.
point-
They
What
invested-
has
But we-
he done? What has
he-
he shown on the paper? Hey, look with Conte.
I'll tell you what he's
$11
shown.
million.
I tell you what he's shown. He's been able to keep some stability in this Inter team where in years past, after January, we would just flunk. We're still there. Yes, we're off the Scudetto race. 6 points. Yes. But
Nine.
no, what do you mean?
Yeah,
9
with
with the game in
Sampdoria,
hand.
'cause
Oh,
the
with
game
sound.
in
Okay. So
Antonio was quick with that.
Sampi Verona too.
Love
so.
this. I live
Okay.
for this.
but what I'm trying to say is what you question Conte is that he cannot be stuck in his ways. And that's what's something that has frustrated a lot of Inter fans because he is stuck in his ways and he doesn't want to change.
He's a
When
stiff.
you have,
He's a stiff.
and then going back to buying Eriksen at 20 million for Inter fans, that was great to see because you say, okay, you're going to pay 20 million for a player you could get free. That shows or that proves that you want him and you're going to get him for that way when you can get a chance to get the Scudetto in May. The only thing is, Conte, somehow, some way, he's not playing him or he was expecting something different. I don't know. I don't know what happened and what the inner works were. That being said, Conte, you have players like Eriksen, you have to be able to change this formation. Why not even change into a 4-2-4 or change into a different thing? The only thing is, Conte is going to say, listen, we've been playing well with the 3-5-2. Why do we have to change? So,
Listen, one more thing. This is very important. Aside from the technical discussion and all of those, misstep by Conte and his stupid mentality, this is what I think is gonna the key of to read all of this situation is.
Yeah.
I think this Conte has been thrown somehow by a miracle. This life raft. I said, hey, Conte, just save yourself. Now you can blame it on the coronavirus because, the fan, they make a big, it's a big deal on the sport. Nevertheless, like Mike said before, the Inter fan, he said that, Inter should have taken the game to Juventus, given the fact that they had an advantage going to Torino without the fan. And the fan, they make a big difference. Not a little different. They make a big difference. So now Conte is going to say, oh, you see, campionato falsato. We don't know the situation. Then you're starting to move the calendar up and down.
You were just saying
and all
that.
the stuff.
No, I mean, we should.
It's like an excuse that he needs it.
It's not an
to
excuse.
Just blame his failure on something else.
It's not an excuse. I think when you have a set schedule, you have to keep to that set schedule because, yes, the reason why is because you play a game versus Sampdoria and you win. It changes how you play versus Juventus. The numbers look different. Yes, trust me, it does.
Yo, but you can't.
It makes a difference.
I understand that you're supposed to
It
set
makes
the
a
schedule.
difference.
Forced.
But did
Juventus
coronavirus
didn't
come on the
Juventus
schedule?
did not create this. Milan did not create this.
No, Juventus were able to say last week, no, we're not playing Porte
Oh,
Chiuse,
there you
and then all of a
go.
sudden
We're
this
starting.
week they changed it. So
If
they
if
do
it
have
was
an
a-
influence.
If it was the thing is,
That's why I brought the
now the
Coppola.
tension's coming.
No, because it was a worse moment for Juventus to play this game than it was for Inter. Last week you didn't have Andanovic.
No.
We would have played
There you
with
go.
Padelli.
Inter
There you
definitely
go.
had the
Oh,
advantage.
that was the
Inter
Inter had the advantage. You just
They had
lost.
the
You just
advantage.
lost the
Juventus
Wednesday.
just lost
You
Lyon.
played the Champions League
Juventus
game.
have looked horrible.
You played the Champions League game. You would have had only 3 days rest, and then Sunday you would have been still thinking about the Champions
Okay,
League.
but then if we played in May, you would have had another excuse.
No, it's not another excuse.
Yeah, it would have
The
been like,
point is-
oh, we were supposed to play in March.
Thank you. Listen, you named Padelli. Padelli was the best thing that happened to Inter yesterday. He got himself a red
then he
card.
got sent off.
He's one of the top players of Inter, and he gets himself a red card being an asshole on the bench. Can I say asshole on
Yeah.
the podcast? Well, he's an asshole. So he gets a red card. What's the matter with this guy here?
I don't know what's
What
the
he said. We
matter.
had no clue
What
what he
is
said.
the matter with this
It
guy
was
here?
based off of a foul.
Just put him
I
a
said, what did
mask.
you see?
Just
You could
put
hear
him a
everything.
mask. Whatever. Just put some duct tape on the guy and keep him over there or chain him.
Listen, I
Chain him.
wanted to add, I think how Marco said with the Conte code, how you got to tell your squad to whoever you got. I think Conte is really stubborn, and even with this loss, he's not going away with a 3-5-2, I think so.
Yeah.
And I feel like, like we're talking about Ericsson, Finn, the
I
thing.
agree with you, Mike.
That's
a new handshake.
Yeah.
That
Hey, by the
bullshit.
way, you guys didn't see the
Do it.
handshake, mate.
I gotta do this. This is to stop from the coronavirus.
But I wanted to add, you're getting paid the big bucks. You're the most paid coach in Italy, one of the best in the world. Why is Conte so stubborn? And
always been
is this
like
gonna?
this.
I'm gonna
He's
ask you.
always
Is
been
this
like
gonna
this.
be a wake up call? I don't think it is gonna be a
No.
wake up call. I think he's gonna stick with the same
Yeah, he's gonna stick
tactics.
to
What
it.
do you guys think?
Listen,
It's
is
ridiculous.
well, my question is there a need for a wake up call? Is the Scudetto done for Inter at this point?
But look how they're
Is.
playing.
I'm asking.
No, it's not done. It's not done.
It's not done.
But look how they're playing against a bigger team.
Numbers wise,
Horrendous.
you're not done. But with the way Lazio's been playing and Juventus and stuff, if Juventus starts to click now, it's going to be very hard for Inter to get back into the Scudetto race. Unless one of those teams slip, Inter has an uphill battle.
Okay, but making the prediction.
Prediction what?
Like,
To win
as
the
an Inter fan,
Scudetto?
do you still believe in the Scudetto? Do you still believe that you
have
could
to.
win it?
They
Listen,
have to.
yeah, exactly. You have to have the hope to win, but at this point, it's more so just playing well. That's what I think the biggest factor is, playing well. Because if we're gonna show up and play versus Juventus, like we have to be not challengers, we have to be the people that are on top,
The
and we gotta,
anti-Juve.
take
there is a
take
song,
advantage.
all I need
But
is
wanna-
a miracle. That's all they do.
Nah.
They need a miracle.
How does it
I
go?
said
What's
that
the
for
song?
you.
I think it's all I need is a love.
Miracle.
I like how he said it. Marco Bernard, like you didn't know what he was talking about.
Going back to what Mike said,
Yeah.
Il Grande Mourinho. Okay,
Who said that?
I said it.
Oh,
I said
you
it.
said
I'm
that.
saying
He's
it.
saying going back
When
to
he
what
came
he
to Inter,
Inter.
right? He wanted to play the 4-3-3, and he was stuck on his way to the 4-3-3. He changed, realizing that in Italy it's different than in England. The style is different. The players that he had were different, and he changed to a rombo 4-3-1-2, or then eventually changed into a 4-2-3-1. And what did Inter do that year? They ended up winning everything that there is
Yeah,
to
no,
win.
let's not really.
So what I'm trying to say is,
one more loser on top of another loser.
what I'm trying to say
Mourinho,
is,
what is he doing with Tottenham right now?
forget
He's
about what
breaking
I'm
Tottenham
talking
down to
about.
the-
I'm talking
Mourinho's
about
not
10 years ago
Oh,
when he was
10
with
years
Inter.
ago, Mourinho the brain, all of a sudden, all his brain
No,
is gone.
no, soccer evolves.
Got hit in the head too much.
Game evolves.
Oh, games evolved. And Mourinho did not evolve.
He did not evolve.
Oh,
So
His species got left behind.
What is it, dinosaur?
he's still walking like this.
He's walking on his forehead.
But
Oh, my goodness. I can't pinch myself. Am I listening this thing here for real? My God, Mourinho.
I'm telling you
saying this, right?
that
Keep going.
he's changed his formations
Okay.
tailored to his players, and Conte should do the same thing.
Let's just agree that football without fans it's bullshit.
It's
It really is
horrible,
horrible. It felt like a friendly.
It was dead. It was like a scrimmage, yeah.
It felt. I didn't think it would be as weird as it was. Like I knew it was gonna be weird, but I didn't expect it to be that weird.
It was like watching a Milan game.
Oh my God, Mike. Mike.
I'm not going to smack you because of the coronavirus. I'm going to smack you.
Nah. But it felt so strange. Even when they scored, I was like looking around, like I didn't hear the chants. I didn't hear.
You heard the coaches and the players
It
screaming.
was strange.
It was really weird.
I have to plug a couple business things right now before we go on and we
Okay.
continue with what we have to talk about. We have a new drop that's coming very soon, a new merch drop. It's going to be amazing. We've shown you some of the designs on social media. They're on the screen right now. It's going to come at the end of March. We don't have a date yet. This is going to be amazing. The sweatshirts, our last set of sweatshirts right now, heavyweight sweatshirts and shirts, a new design. They're going to be really good. So sign up for our email list if you want to be the first ones to get all the access. The links are in the description. Guys, our beautiful background, thanks to a couple friends who came over. We got to say Max helped us, Shannon, Matt,
Matthew,
and
yeah.
Ryan. Ryan was here. So
Ryan helped,
We'll just
yeah.
throw
He
his name
directed,
here.
right?
I think it looks pretty good. For one day,
For what we had before, guys, look at our last video, then come back here and comment below what you like about it and what we got to add.
this section is blank because I usually sit here. So we
Yeah.
kept that. Like,
Also, listen, if you guys see flags, these are flags that you guys sent us from fan clubs from Milan, Lazio, Inter,
it's
Roma,
Texas Laziale, Milan Club Montreal, Milan Club Toronto, and Milan Club Philly.
Yeah.
And Bayern Munich sent us that scarf. That's why we have
So,
Bayern.
guys, if you want your scarf or jersey to be hung up, DM us and it'll be here in the future.
We have a couple more jerseys that we need to get.
Yeah.
I think my dad, we got to go steal them.
We need
from
we
from
need
my
a couple
dad.
more frames and we'll hang them
Yeah,
up.
we
too.
don't have, I don't know what team is not
We need a
represented.
nice Totti, maybe.
We have Totti.
We have it? Oh, there it is. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know
It's
what
out
we
there.
need? We need
We don't need any Inter stuff.
We need
We
a-
have Inter right here. We got Zanetti.
we're missing a Spal jersey. A nice Petagna. Why are you guys looking at me like that?
Petagna. Hey, Petagna, if you look in the podcast, just send us the jersey.
Well, he's going to be
Signed.
on Napoli. Sign.
Oh, signed.
yeah,
Oh,
That's
maybe a nice
right.
Napoli jersey.
Yeah.
Joel,
let's
Gervinho,
get it.
we got to give our shout out to Gervinho.
He just
sent
sent
us
us.
the
He sent this for
Mike,
us.
move back. Let's see.
Yeah.
He's Gervinho's been a big time follower of IFTV since almost day one. He sent it. He said he sent it in time for my birthday. So very nice of Gervinho.
Hey, Gervinho is one of the top players.
He is.
He is.
Forza
Yes.
Parma, baby.
So thank you to Gervinho for sending us. And last but not least, a little plug. If you hear, have you noticed I have a lisp?
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened?
I think it was
I got it.
he was in an accident. You bicycle kicked his head.
yeah,
Remember
really?
yesterday?
No, I'm kidding. He's kidding. I have Invisalign in right now.
Yeah.
We Smile Dental, who's a dentist office in Queens. They're amazing. If you're in New York, go use them. They hooked us up. So they're going to take me on this journey of fixing my teeth. I got messed up teeth. They're all big football fans in there too. Unfortunately, it's Real Madrid and Barcelona. So while I was in the chair, they made me play them in FIFA. I did win when I was in the chair. I'm not
That's
gonna
good.
lie.
You represented well.
We got a video coming up. But We Smile Dental. Once a month, you'll see the progress of how my teeth look. We have some before and after pictures. They hooked us up. And then we'll see anybody else on the podcast needs some. Your son is a dentist.
Yeah, my
or
son
becoming.
is about to become a dentist next year. So
There we go.
Okay.
So if anyone watching, We Smile Dental, hooking us up. If you need anything in New York, you need a dentist, go to them. Anyway, what do we got to go to next? What game we're going to?
let's talk about very quickly
Milan.
AC Milan. I didn't even watch
Very
the-
quickly.
Listen,
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
didn't watch the game,
I swear
okay.
I never watched not even the highlights because to me it's not that interesting anymore. The Campionato is almost done. I mean, this all BS over there without spectators.
I thought you
and all
guys
that
were
stuff.
gonna win Champions League. Get into Champions League. Sorry.
First of all, stop your BS because you are in a worse situation.
I'm
than
in a
we are.
worse
No, I don't
situation.
know
Yes,
about
you
that,
are.
Anto.
I think,
Yes,
you know
you
what?
are. You spend so much money.
Oh, get
You
out of
got
here.
all of
What are you
this
talking
hype.
about? Whose
You
money did
got-
I spend? I didn't spend my money.
No, I know, but your stupid team did.
He's got the money
you
to spend.
build up all of this hype about we're gonna win everything. We got content.
Actually, you're the one that said that.
We got Lukaku. We got this. We got that, and you got nothing to show for. Listen.
Can we talk about Milan?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So we're talking about Milan. We lost. We were down 2-0. I couldn't even believe it. I was playing, one of our last practice game in Staten Island because our league starts Sunday next week. And then my friend Mannino said, "Antonio, we're down 2-0." I said, "Who cares?" I said, first of all, I didn't believe it because the guy, he has a tendency of getting me upset by lying about the AC Milan score. But then, being playing in San Siro with Genova with no spectator, I said, you know what, let me double check. Sure enough, it was true. And
Sounds
then
like
we went
Milan.
up losing 2-1. But, I saw the stats and, even the stats, they lie all the time. They say AC Milan had the possession at this. In soccer, it's not the possession what wins you the game. It's the score, the final score. So bottom line is AC Milan is going through so much bad luck lately with Boban leaving the squad, and now Maldini's been rumored to be the next one to leave. This Elliot, please, if you're listening to me, just get out of this AC Milan business. You don't belong in soccer. Just stick with your camping equipment over there, the Cobellas, because that's what they do. They're the owner of a camping
you
equipment,
said it.
and just
like
get
he's
out.
sponsored,
Or,
the way he says
or
it.
the Bass Pro Shop. Just stick with what you know. Soccer is totally different, especially in Italy. Soccer is what we live and breathe to. So don't take the oxygen out of our lung. Just stick with your stuff and just let somebody else that loves soccer take over AC Milan.
But
Because,
how do you? I mean, obviously, like you said, Boban was fired.
Yeah.
He was sacked, yep.
As CFO,
Right.
Chief Football Officer.
Right.
No,
Oh,
football.
football?
He's football officer. He's not financial.
Yeah, you're right.
And Maldini is rumored to be the next guy out of
Yeah.
the door. And it's all coming from Gazidis,
Yeah.
who
A Greek
now
guy.
Who's the
A
head?
Greek guy.
who now all the Milan fans are very upset with Gazidis, saying that every year is year zero, which
Right.
I think is the scariest part for me. It's like we start a project, we get halfway. I mean, I wouldn't even say halfway through. We start it, and then all of a sudden, some stuff goes bad, and it's all right. Let's switch it. Misdirection.
Right.
And I don't think you could really build a team.
Right.
For the last 8 years, you're saying that we're going to build Milan, but you have no consistency. Not in the players, because the players are not Milan players. Half of those guys are not Milan. What's supposed to be Milan players. You have no consistency with the coach. You have no consistency with the
Performances.
directors. You have no consistency with the heads of the team, and now you got no consistency even with the ownership of the team. It is a utter
a mess.
disaster.
That's why-
And now they're saying even Gazidis might be out. But what is going on?
That's why
Who the hell can run a
praying
club
for
like this?
Commisso when the room where all the paper were rumoring about Commisso buying the AC Milan. I said, "Oh God, this is a big soccer fan. This guy is gonna bring AC Milan to the Berlusconi era." I was hoping, I was praying. I said, Commisso is the one. Now, unfortunately, Commisso bought Fiorentina. I mean, we wish him all the luck. But Commisso, give him 2-3 years, is going to bring Fiorentina on the top because Commisso is not cheap, number one. He's somebody that understands soccer.
And he loves
he loves the game. He's got Joe Barone, which is our friend. Hey, Joe, if you're listening. So
You say hi to Joe Barone more than you say hi to me.
That's what I think.
Hey, Joe is our friend. Joe is Joe is what we links us. Plus, he was the president of the Brooklyn Italian, and I play for the franchise, and
Family, right?
he's part of the family. Joe's like family for us. Plus, we love his kids.
So what needs to happen with Milan?
We want somebody with the passion to buy the franchise. Just AC Milan right now. AC Milan right now need I don't know. If I had money, I would have bought them.
The thing is, I feel like there's no foundation. They need first of all, they need an ownership that cares, like how Anto was saying.
Yeah.
And from there, you build. If you keep throwing short-term replacements, like getting Gazidis wasn't short-term; it was more of a long-term. But the people around them, there's so much uncertainty, and how Marco was saying, these players that don't really fit, they're not Milan quality. It's just almost bound for disaster.
Yeah.
There's no one knows what's going on there.
Does
They don't know who to
Gazidis'
sell
plan
it to.
even make sense though? I've heard what he said about
Yeah,
young
he
players and
says
stuff,
a-
and I'm like,
he says a
I'm
lot
looking
of
at him
weird
like,
stuff.
You want to build like Arsenal?
Yeah, he says a lot of weird stuff. I
Do
gotta
is
say.
Arsenal the model to follow
he's
out of
getting-
everything in
and
Europe?
he's
he's
getting
the
paid a
one
lot
that
of money.
he's the one that
He's
was
from
at
Arsenal. I
Arsenal.
know,
So,
but that's
he-
what I'm saying. Was that a success?
Exactly. That's the problem. But that comes from the ownership.
It's
So
like I choose a building that I'm going to
Yeah.
build of the one that crumbles.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
choose the one that's stable.
And he's saying it as if it was a success or something, which isn't something
Sorry.
you're supposed
yeah,
to say.
no. But the problem with Milan is exactly what Inter went through. When you have the change of ownerships, and then the ownership ended up being bullshit, really. And then this Elliott fund pretty much just capitalized on the opportunity to get Milan.
And then
I
try to
think,
flip it,
and trying to flip
probably.
it. So I think what they're what they're likely to do is wait till Milan gets Champions League, the value goes up, the money will go up, and then be
Sell
able
at the
to
highest.
cash in and cash out. But that
How
being
can you
said,
raise the value if you play
if
like
you can't
this?
get to
Exactly.
Champions League. It's all about getting into Champions League, because once you get in Champions League, the TV deals come through. You're
All
getting
the money
40
goes
million,
up.
instant bonuses, all this stuff. So it changes the outcome. That being said, whoever's in charge needs to make decisions, not just for next year, but a 5-year plan, something like that. Because I'm sorry, Antonio, Milan's not going to change overnight. Milan's not going to change in 1 year. It's going to take a process. What happened with Milan is a lot of the players that they bought in years prior lost value. So it's hard, especially with this financial fair play.
Right.
You have to be able to balance the books, and you spend 50, and now all of a sudden the players were at 30. It hurts. It's a negative 20 on your balance sheet. So it's not even easy to sell players. That being said, I think they did a great job selling Piontek. They got at least most of what they bought him for. Suso, they were able to sell him. They got some money, and so that part was good. The second part now is being able to get a sporting director. In the past, Milan had one of the best, Galliani, who knew the ins and outs of the game. He was able to identify talent. He had a good supporting cast.
Maybe
he
we
was
can get
able
him
to,
back.
He was able to get Kaká. He was able to get all these different players, Shevchenko. These guys, no one knew who they were, and be able to make them into Milan. But then, even with that said, Milan, besides the top players they were able to get, they had a very good youth system. And that youth system now is terrible. They even got demoted, relegated to the second division of the Primavera. So they've lost a lot. And you don't have any young guys coming up. Even the recent young guys that were coming up, they ended up taking a turn for the worse, because sometimes when the situation is bad, even the players, they don't know how to handle it and stuff.
It's a mess on all fronts.
Yeah. So
It makes no sense.
Yeah,
There's no direction.
Yeah.
At all.
And
At all.
Here we are now, just looking back. I said, when Berlusconi was the president and all the stuff, the guy had
But it even
leadership.
started with Berlusconi.
But no. The guy had leadership.
So it's like Moratti.
When he's
When
starting
it's
to
towards
sell,
the tail end of the ownership.
Berlusconi, he had the passion for the game.
Yes. But it was a
Passion's not
different
enough at
but it was a
some point.
different time, Antonio, because there was no financial fair play. All the
Right.
teams were in a lot of debt. You had Serie A was on the top. Now all of a sudden you have to advance into this new technological world, and Italy has done shit compared to the other leagues.
You know what? I think we need somebody like Gasperini. Not that Gasperini is going to come to
Yeah.
AC Milan. Somebody with that kind of mentality that is going to just stay to
build
put
a
the
plan.
foot down. Is going to build up a plan.
You know,
And say,
project
guys,
first.
But you
give me
have
a
to
couple
give him
years.
time. You have to
Of
give him
course,
time.
of course.
Because Gianpaolo, for example, you guys gave him no time.
Yeah, but
So you
Gianpaolo
complain.
didn't have
Well,
it.
they gave Gattuso no time either.
Yeah, they gave a
They
lot
gave
of
him
players.
time than
Gattuso no
Gianpaolo.
time.
But because the fans,
Gattuso actually did
but you know what
better
the
than
prob-
Gianpaolo,
but
that's why.
You know what the problem is? Because the Milan fans are spoiled. They're used to
They
seeing
expect the
glory.
top.
They
Yeah.
want to be able
Oh,
to
yeah.
fight for it.
We want
Guess
everything,
what?
and we want everything now.
Guess what? You're not good anymore. Sorry,
gotta get with
as
the
you
top.
say, right?
Yo, he said that for stat.
The first
was a
30
jab.
minutes of us saying Inter lost was all saved for that part.
Being said things like this from a loser, it's unbelievable. But you know what? Again, guys, for the three of those guys that they wishing us the worst, we're not gonna
worst.
die. We're not gonna die. We're still gonna be here, and
Anto,
we're
I got
gonna
a
be
question.
showing.
get
How many
beat up,
Milan
but you
things
won't die.
did we hang up?
Okay.
We hung up more Milan stuff than anything else.
Because I forced
No, you
to
weren't
do
even
it.
here when we were
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, we have a bunch of Milan.
Okay, so-
Don't say everybody hates Milan. over
Okay,
here.
all right.
Okay, we
I
didn't
don't
talk
hate
about the
Milan.
game at all. The
Why?
Milan game.
Because this
just-
is
I didn't watch
Okay.
it.
Pandev,
I
Goran
mean,
Pandev.
Yeah, I mean, I saw,
I didn't watch it.
Inter legend
Show me.
Pandev. I'll just explain it real quick. It was basically Genoa scoring on the counterattacks. Milan looked lackluster, and Genoa literally had 2 or 3 chances. They scored 2 of them, and Zlatan scored 1 from the corner, and that's pretty much it. And
Zlatan looks so frustrated with some of the guys.
He missed some
next to him.
chances too. Perin.
He missed.
Yeah, Perin.
Perin made a couple of saves. He had
Yeah.
the header right in front, and Perin was able to make the save. You know, he had the.
It was
bicycle
embarrassing.
kick
I was
out.
watching. I was just like, my God.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, with no fans and then watching Milan look like that, I couldn't even watch. I honestly, it was that bad. By the way, Roma's ownership. They had a whole thing this
yeah,
week.
that's right.
What happened?
You know, they've been about to sell to. I can't pronounce his name.
Friedkin.
Friedkin.
I
You know
don't
his
know.
name?
I'm not sure.
He's
exactly
another
what it's
American
called.
guy.
Why they do those things in the middle of the campionato?
It's gonna take a while.
I mean,
I think
they're doing this for a while.
they said that this
happening.
week is supposed to be the signatures, and then it takes a couple months for them to do their due
process
diligence
and
or
all that
whatever.
stuff.
But it seems like Pallotta is gonna officially sell Roma. I mean, it seems like a formality that he's gonna sell. 740 million evaluation. It's pretty high.
Yeah,
That's
they
a
made a
lot
lot
of
of money.
money.
I
But
think
that's
a
what
lot
it
has
is.
to do with the real estate that they were with the
Most likely.
with
What do you
the
mean? What real estate? For the
if
for the
they
stadium.
bought for the
I'm
stadium.
assuming because I mean 740 million is a lot. I
That
thought.
includes the real estate.
It probably
the land.
includes
the
right.
right. So
The right,
And
right.
it's not a lot of It's not a lot of money because the land is a lot more expensive than what you.
Well, I don't
think.
know if the land is included, but I thought it's the right to build in Rome. I don't know. We're not experts at this, but anyway, there was actually rumors that this week in New York, the signatures were taking place. Pallotta on Twitter actually commented to a fan who posted it, a journalist who posted it, and he said, "You got that wrong," saying that they weren't signing, but all the newspapers are saying that they should be signing very soon. Pallotta to hand off the team, and I think Roma fans. What do you want him to show
I
you?
want you to get the highlights.
Oh. Pallotta, you watch it after. Pallotta, I think a lot of the Roma fans, what started out as like a very hopeful ownership route, a man who seemed like he would be passionate in bringing Roma into this new era. And I think on a lot of fronts, he did do a lot of things correctly, Pallotta, and I was always a fan of him. But I feel like at a certain point, Pallotta was trying to, with the sledgehammer, use a sledgehammer against a steel wall. Some of the things that he did, it kind of felt the wrong message behind some of the messages that he was sending. And I think at this point, Roma fans are fed up. They saw their team get to a point where it felt like they were going to compete
They
for
were
a
fighting for
Scudetto.
Scudetto.
They were doing well in Champions League and then continued to sell players and not really push to become an elite team at the top level consistently.
And now they're fighting for the Champions League.
But it comes down to business, right?
Yeah.
Roma, when you have a project, right, the stadium is so important. You see Juventus. Juventus is able to be the top, buy the top players because they own the stadium.
They get all the revenue.
All the other Italian cities, they do not give this opportunity to these teams. Fiorentina now is having the same battle that Roma had for the past 10 years. And this is something that has to really be reconsidered because the Italian government is
Is
taking
steaming all the money from the top of the-
is taking away from a potentially strong league. If all the Italian teams that are asking for stadium rights or being able to build their stadium actually are able to do it, they can now compete with England. Because
England
Italy
gets all the money from the
yes,
stadium.
but
It's not owned by the city.
But besides that, you can now naming rights. You have so many different
Revenue
marketing
streams.
revenue streams to be able to
They
do
sell
it.
corporate boxes for
Yeah,
tens of thousands of dollars.
And the crazy thing is, Italy has the sex appeal.
100%.
Anybody, wherever you are, they're gonna say, "I want to go to Italy." That's one of the bucket list things to do. Tourists want to go to Italy, and if you're able to have
Maybe right
these
now,
stadium-
not in this
not right
moment,
now.
but
Okay.
in the long haul.
Usually.
Okay, so
By the
that's
summer.
that
Hopefully.
started the demise of Roma because Roma, if you remember, they were the competitors with Conte's Juventus. They were the ones that were there. Rudy Garcia was there. They had a long streak of unbeaten run. They were buying players. They were buying, Struman, Iturbe, okay, whatever. Whoever
That
came,
good
they
players.
were able to get.
Nainggolan, Pjanic, Manolas was
Exactly.
there,
They were
Alisson.
they were spending some money, and they were smart about it. Then once the deal for the stadium, they start seeing it going sour. They became a selling team. They're able to play a good league. They get into Champions League. They made some money. But after that, it was like, okay, this guy sell him, this guy sell him,
So
this
look
guy
at
get rid of him.
Look where we started.
So-
We're starting from the technical reviews of the game, and now we're going into, like Peter has been saying right now, to the social, political, and economic situation that
just
Italy
a reality.
is running right now. So in other words, soccer is just it's been devalued from the game and from the kicking the ball around, from of all of those things.
You
the
can't
financial
fight against
fair
the
play,
inevitable.
But
financial fair play, and all the
but
stuff.
it's the way
this
it is.
shows-
Vance,
this
the way it
show-
is.
Antonio, if you want to compete,
Yeah.
you have to. That's the
hold on.
problem because
Put your phone on
you have
silent.
you have to understand that if you're in Italy, it's one thing, but when you in and get into Champions League, you're competing versus the world. You know, you're competing versus
course.
England and
Yeah.
versus Spain.
Your representation.
So
of
the only
country.
way that you can compete is that you have money to buy better players,
Yeah. Yeah, well, but Pete,
and you
again,
need that revenue from a
again,
business standpoint. There's
if-
two parts. There's the technical side
Yeah.
and there's the financial side.
Look, it's another factor that I want to just bring into this discussion. If you go back to 1980s, 1990s,
the golden years.
listen to this. Italy was the best campionato in the world.
Yeah.
Everyone dreamed about coming to play
Yes.
in Italy.
Yes.
And back then, all of this attention that we are having right now about Mourinho, Conte, and all of those people, we never discuss about formation because back then this formation was nothing but a bunch of BS. Everybody adapted to the play to the game itself. The players
was a-
were over there.
But it was that's what I'm saying. It was a different game because in those times it was a lot of man marking. Now it's zonal marking. There used to be times when the player would follow the Maradona,
player,
whoever it
yeah,
was,
1v1.
like if it was.
Now all of a sudden we're discussing 4-3-1
Because
4-4-2,
the game
and we're
has
giving all
evolved.
of this additional attention to those bunch of losers like
The formation's
Conte,
always been
Sarri,
discussed. I
and
don't
all of
agree with that.
stuff that they 20 years ago that did not exist. 20 years ago was the game before the coach. No, it's the coach before everything else.
It was definitely
So
much more
if we-
individualistic.
If we
the
have to blame
characteristics.
somebody from the loss, who do we blame?
Yeah, but also
first?
Antonio.
We blame the Conte.
Antonio,
because Conte screwed it all
the
up.
game. The game.
Instead of that's it.
You're the one that's been blaming Conte.
He's a loser.
Put the blame.
Loser.
You just put the blame on one person. What happened in the past 30
So
years?
it's sad. It's very sad. Before, when I was your age, you get into the bus, you with the books under your arm. It says that was a penalty. No, it was never a mention of a 4-3-2-2, 4-3-1-1. It was never a mention that was a penalty. You guys are corrupt and this and that. Did you see the end ball? Why does And we had one of the best radio show. Which is still around right now. It's called Novantesimo Minuto. No, tutto il calcio minuto per minuto means all soccer
long name.
minute by minute.
Were they better than us?
Oh, much better. So there were those 3 or 4 guys, telling you about the game.
Commentators.
Everybody with the radio like that.
That's so funny.
And no TV, no HD.
I mean, how old are you?
Black
Don't
and
tell
white.
The George Washington days.
A pigeon would send a message for the
message.
result.
That's
You
a
would have
different
watched the game better by just listening to those guys telling you what's going on
So
the radio.
descriptive, right?
By just watching this bunch of losers right now telling you, we have those commentators on a jacket that they don't even know what the hell they
What,
say.
they didn't wear jackets back then?
No jackets back then. no one got cold.
No one got cold back
They
then.
read through the teleprompter. They don't know what the hell are they doing. Just making things up the way they that was the suck. That was the real sucker. Right now, I'm trying to bring some of that old, not old. I mean, some of that style.
Retro.
Yeah, into
Retro.
this.
Get the throwbacks.
Into this podcast
Rustic.
over here.
Okay, I like
because, because that's what we all about it. We're not script again. We're not script. We're not reading.
You're not reading off a script?
Are you reading from
I
the
got a
teleprompter?
script right out there.
Me too, I got one.
I don't read.
So
I'm a little.
So hey, that's the situation. Let's talk about soccer. Let's just move the ball around the way everybody's supposed to move the ball around. Forget about Conte. Forget about Mourinho. All of those bunch of losers.
I like how you just
But
named
Antonio, the game has changed. But as you see, remember the offside rule, how it was?
Yeah.
If you were offside, they whistled it down.
But there were rules,
and it
Ben.
would stop. The game had a lot of stoppage and play. Now the game is ever moving.
So on the right direction or the wrong direction?
It's not necessarily right or wrong. What I'm trying to say is the game has changed. There's different rules with the offside. The plays go on. Play on. And then if the guy touches the ball, that's when the offside flag gets raised. Or now it's even changed again
got
where
the VAR,
until
all
they
of this-
score
all of this.
their flag. So that evolution changes the way you got to play. because you cannot play man marking anymore, because then if someone's offside or not offside, you might risk.
Guys, as much as I'd love to rant about this all day, we got 2 more things to discuss real quick, and then we'll conclude. The first, obviously, being what happens with the season at this point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of concerns. Obviously, we didn't address it. We actually kept it on the lighthearted side. We talked about, because we're football fans first and foremost. You know, we're not health experts. We're not crisis management guys. You know, we talk about the game as it's being played. And I do appreciate all the coaches out there like Klopp and I think Conte and Sarri who say, don't ask me if the game should be played. I'm there to just put my team on the field and that's it, because I agree with that. And that's how we are. First, I want to say that first and foremost, the health of everybody is the primary concern. We are not experts at this. We are just voicing our opinion as fans of the game. It feels like the league might truly be stopped for the Serie A. It feels there's a fear that this was the last game that we'll see this season, because the coronavirus situation in Italy is bad. Parts of northern Italy are shut down. Lots of cases, lots of deaths are continuing to occur. And now it's starting to spread across Europe, where I think Bayern's Champions League game, Bayern PSG, got behind closed doors. I think Germany's starting to put restrictions on closed doors, this and that. So this week's games were behind closed doors. But it feels like there are rumors that even by tomorrow, the league could be canceled. Tomasi, who's the head of the Players Union, Players Association, said that the league must be stopped. He says it's not safe for players. And he says we're going to wait for one player to get sick, and then everybody else is going to get sick. We even saw the first match was at Parma, that they were they were waiting in the tunnel for 45 minutes, about to step on the field 2 minutes before. No, you can't go out. 30 minutes. No, another 30 minutes, another 15 minutes to go in. So even Balotelli has come out and said that the game should be stopped. Whether it's going to be stopped for a month, and then we'll see if it progresses. But some of the experts are saying that the coronavirus is going to get worse come April.
Yeah.
That once that time comes, even the Euros are at risk of being postponed or suspended. I would obviously love to see the game be played. If we could do it behind closed doors for the rest of the season, as much as that would suck, I'd rather see the game played. But it feels like we're moving towards a situation where the league is going to get suspended.
So let's say they stopped it. So Juventus is the winner of the Campionato.
Nah, I don't know how they're going to determine it, but whoever wins, this can't be considered a win. This is not a win.
I don't think
if Juventus, Inter, Lazio, whoever I don't
whoever
think
goes
I
will
first,
assign any
it should be
championship to
nobody.
anybody. I will just say, okay, this year nobody's
not right.
a champion.
You can't consider yourself a winner after 26 games.
Nobody comes up in Serie A. I don't know.
But now how do you determine the Champions League spots?
But that's hard.
How do you determine Champions League
And the
spots?
how it ends right now.
Yeah,
but we're just saying that it's not right.
It's not right.
If
Yeah,
you're
I
going to
know.
determine Champions League and Serie
listen,
B
That's a
and
lot of money.
Scudetto,
But
you have to do them all.
Okay, but what are you gonna do then if they suspend the league for
I have
if it stops
absolutely
now?
no idea.
How else would you,
I don't know
what's
if
the
you do
most
last
fair-
year.
That you
What's the
have
most
to-
fair
Do
way
you
to
do
it?
last year's Champions League
I
spots?
think it'd be this year's.
No,
Why
but
would it
you
be
have-
last
But there's
year's?
still because
You look at
there's-
the standing right now and said, okay.
Yeah, but then also you have promotion
Roma's
relegation.
3
is a
points
big issue.
difference from Atalanta.
Okay.
How the hell are you gonna give
10
Worst case
games
scenario,
left.
though.
You can't.
with 10 games left?
Yeah, but I'm saying worst case
10
scenario.
games
If you
left.
had to make a choice, I don't think you'd go with the last year's.
I
I think
think-
it'd have to stop
Yeah,
now.
it would probably be the last game
Round
that
that
everybody
everyone
played.
plays,
So
yeah.
round 25. I'm assuming that you can't count this.
Well,
How can
not
you
everyone
have
played,
Inter
right?
hasn't played a game,
Yeah.
and Atalanta hasn't played
So
a
it'd
game.
be the last round.
They're a game down unless they manage to be able to play those games just to even everybody out. I don't know. Again, we don't know what's happening. We're blind.
Listen,
to this.
it's a crisis. The last time that the Campeonato was stopped like this, I
World
think
War I?
we had maybe World War II, but right.
I
That
heard,
was the last time.
I heard a rumor that
something
Lazio
stopped.
on two occasions, World War I, they were in first place, and then the league got canceled, and then another outbreak in the 70s, and the league got canceled.
Oh, okay, so in the 70s it got canceled.
One of the I don't remember exactly.
Who was assigned?
I'm not sure.
The winning
I have a feeling that nobody was. In my personal opinion, this is not. You cannot give somebody the league title. Even as if a Juventus fan were in first place, this is
So
not.
you're saying just end the
In
season
my
as
in
is
my opinion,
and don't give
in
anyone
my
the-
opinion, you cannot count Juventus as the winners. If you end it today, what are they on? They're on 63 points. Lazio's on 62 points.
What they should do is when games resume, the
If-
the Coppa Italia games, throw those away. You don't need a Coppa Italia. The Scudetto is more important. The games that we played
The thing is, the
within
Coppa
the
Italia
Scudetto is
is
more
better.
important. You have to be able to now, unfortunately, you're gonna play games very close to each other. You know, and the biggest problem is the Euros. So they've been talking about maybe postponing the Euros. Italy's asking
To September,
to
I
keep
heard.
June available and then postpone it maybe to July
September, I heard.
or September. Okay. Or even, I've even seen something, and I don't know how true this is, to postpone it to 2021 to actually
Yeah.
have the Euros for the next year.
Yeah, I heard
Because
that too.
the problem is, Euros, there's going to be a lot of movement of people. We don't know what's going to happen
Nothing.
now.
It's gonna
Rome,
be
Rome is
and,
the first
and
game.
you have Rome, but they have three.
Yeah.
Italy has 3 games in Rome, so you're gonna have all these people going around. And then the funny thing is, not the funny thing, but it's all of Europe. The whole Europe
The
is
ironic
hosting
thing.
the Euro 2020. So you're gonna have a big
It hasn't
population
even,
all
it
over the
hasn't
place.
even hit the other countries yet.
No.
It hit
not that
France.
it
I
didn't
know,
hit.
I know, I
France.
know. I'm saying that it's not as exposed.
The
Italy has
testing-
been testing.
In Italy, we have this kind of
That's
a
what I
problem
meant.
is
That's what I
because the
meant.
testing in Italy is extremely extensive. In
that's
Italy,
what I meant.
everybody's been tested.
They've been doing it for weeks, and this is 2 week
in the rest of the
incubation.
Europe, you're gonna see the cases. They're gonna start to multiply by thousands.
France
That's what I
already
meant.
started.
Greece actually 2 weeks with no fans. They announced it yesterday that the federation.
That's what I
the game's
meant.
gonna
I
be
meant
played.
that. I meant
So
that
it's
it
only
didn't
gonna
even
get worse,
hit
maybe.
the rest of Europe yet. Which who knows what that's going to mean for Champions League? Who
Yeah.
knows what it means for anything?
anything,
The
yeah.
only thing that I could think of personally, and we've spoken to some players, and players' families, and they're very scared. They are scared, and they don't feel comfortable. And players are not seeing their families because their families are moving out of Italy, and then if they go back to a certain place, it's shut down. Kids haven't been in school for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think is what if they did it in a different country?
Are you gonna fly everyone and stay there? Or?
I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of.
But the thing is, you don't know if the other country is
I
infected.
think. Listen,
at
I
the
think
end of
we
the
are
day.
overhyping this BS. I'll tell you what. This is important that everybody's starting to follow the advice of all the health experts. Wash your hands and do all of that stuff. But you know what? There are more people dying every year from influenza than this coronavirus. You can be cured from coronavirus if you're not an elderly person, from what I understand, with a compromised immune system. The kids that are affected by this, very rarely you see a kid coming out with with a deadly coronavirus situation. But young guys like me and you guys, we're not affected.
Once again, we're not health experts. Do not
Yeah.
take our
But,
health medical advice.
Yeah.
Once
See
again,
a doctor for that. Definitely not
just
on
want to
going-
say, we're not health experts, and we don't understand how to contain a virus.
So, Mike, let's see what else happened
Anyway.
in the rest of the campionato. Some other things.
One other thing before you get
Yeah,
questions:
go.
Atalanta play Champions League tomorrow. It's still on
right.
against Valencia behind closed
Behind
doors.
closed doors. In
Still in
Spain.
Spain. No fans, not just Italians. No fans. Atalanta obviously going in with the advantage of 4-1. Probably going to go with a similar formation. This is Atalanta's time. They could make history. They've been making history, but they could continue to make history by getting to the next stage. They could be the only Italian team that make it to the next stage, by the way.
Seriously.
We got the probable lineup that's on our screen right now. How do we feel this game is going to go? I hope that I know that Atalanta is going to go out there, not to sit on a 4-1 win, but to score. If they get one away goal, this would be beautiful.
Yeah.
If they could get that one away goal, it equals out to the one that Valencia gave up, and beautiful.
Yeah, I agree.
How do we
with
feel
you.
about the game?
And I think Atalanta are going to go out hungry. They're not going to be defending their lead. We know how Gasperini plays. They go to score not just one goal. They go to score 4 the first time in their Champions League appearance. But they got a very big advantage by playing behind closed doors also. No Valencia fans is huge because back in San Siro, they had the Atalanta fans there. So I think, they're definitely going through for sure.
And I just hope defensively they stay a little bit more solid.
Yeah, they got to be a little bit
Don't
smarter there.
give us too much anxiety.
Yeah.
Anto,
Listen, I love Gasparini. There is no.
do you?
This is as good as it gets. Okay, and Gasparini is one of the few.
Doesn't smoke?
No, Gasparini is one.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Gasparini is one of those few coaches that doesn't brag about anything. It's unless somebody goes and put the mic on his mouth and say, "Tell me, please." The guy's not gonna go on primetime TV. It's not a
Prime time.
It doesn't grandstand. The
So how do you
guy
feel about
is
the match?
not a grandstander. He doesn't do anything. He just shows. He shows.
On the
He
field,
displays
right?
on the field how you play.
So how do you feel like they're going to come out tomorrow?
I think they're gonna win. They're gonna win.
Gonna
At the very least, they're not getting eliminated. So
Yeah.
Pete?
No, I agree. I mean, no fans. Atalanta's style of play is take it to them. They're going to have a good game. then I think they'll pass. Whether they tie, they win, they lose, they'll go through.
Atalanta is the honor, I think, of all the Italians. And I want to say one last thing to all the fans that I see in our comment section that are so negative to Atalanta. Realize you don't have to be jealous. You could be proud of this team who are defying the odds with no money and could be the only Italian team that's represented in this.
Yes.
I saw a lot of Inter fans. I saw a lot of Milan fans. Don't be jealous. Be supportive.
Yeah.
Of
Well, I mean, even Agnelli.
Hey, look what
Did you
we
hear
got-
Agnelli's
yeah,
statement?
And
Even
Juve
on-
fans,
yeah,
everyone
Agnelli.
in general.
I was just saying in our comment section from
Yeah, I know.
the ones
You
that
gotta
said they
say
should play
that.
at San
It's
Siro.
gonna sound weird if you don't
Ricardo.
sound
Hold on, listen to this.
Ricardo
Aspetta, listen
sent
to
us the
this.
shirt.
Listen to this.
Okay, go ahead.
What did
Why do you say
Agnelli
that-
say?
Why do you say that every
Yeah, you
week?
say that.
Now, because we're talking about Atalanta right now. Look at that. We got all the players signed. We got them live right here. And,
We got them live.
Yo, Zapata, come over here.
hey, Ricardo, you're number one. You're number
Hold on,
one.
you got to hear what Agnelli said about Atalanta.
Say
We sent it to you.
What did you say?
You didn't read it?
No, I didn't
Not
read it.
gonna
yet.
remember.
I don't have the full statement, but Agnelli was questioning how the European Champions League spots should be put together, and he says that is it fair for a team like Roma, who continue to qualify and help Serie A for their qualification, to be out of Champions League when a team and Atalanta, who only 1 year go in, are automatically qualified. He said, "Is it right or is it not right?" And I know people are saying that his statement
context.
was being out of context. I read the whole thing, and yes, maybe parts of it, if you didn't realize that he was saying it as a question, were. But that's what Agnelli was saying what
asking.
everybody heard.
He was asking.
There's no way to push around the statement.
The big thing is behind all that, Agnelli is one of the, I guess, board members or whatever that are pushing for this Super League
For the
between the top
Juggernaut
European
teams.
teams.
Off the
So
record.
this is definitely
'Cause you can't.
part of what he's trying
Yeah,
to
exactly. That's exactly what I mean by all the fans that are trying to make it sound like Agnelli didn't say something like, no, he did. And like you said, he's been pushing for the Super League where there would only be the top
it's big
teams.
money.
Because it helps you by not. It's kind of like the promotion relegation in MLS. That's what I thought. How you can't get relegated because then it stabilizes everything. That's how I would see it.
What it does, the Super League, European Super League, is going to create a pretty much NBA, NFL of soccer. So the Champions League, you can be in it 1 year, you can be out of it in the next. But in this Super League, it's the top teams that are playing within the league, and they'll play there all the time. And you'll have a campionato-like tournament where you'll have Real Madrid, Barcelona, Inter, Milan, Juventus, Bayern, Liverpool, Manchester United, Manchester,
Yeah.
and it'll just be
But
cash cow.
You know, I
It kind of ruins the spirit of
it
the
changes,
game.
yeah.
Yeah, it does.
But
For
then,
sure.
if you think about it, that would be the real representation of the best team in
Yeah,
Europe.
it's true. It is true.
Because
A
you
league-
could have an easy
Yeah,
path
it's
to
true.
win the
But
Champions
then
League
will be
compared
Mike will
to
be
someone
saying,
else.
what about Olympiacos?
I mean,
that's the thing. But
he could be in Serie B of that Super League.
Serie B, that's high. I was thinking
You guys are disrespectful.
Don't worry, you'll flip to another team. The one team that gets in.
Flip to something else.
That hurt me.
But the one thing I want to say is I understand the idea, but
it's
you have
dangerous.
to be careful
It's
because
dangerous.
it's dangerous. It's a dangerous game.
Kill
because-
everything
Exactly.
else.
And I could understand limiting the amount of smaller teams and so that you just get the best, like kind of like how I want to eliminate teams in Serie A. I want to 20 teams is too much in my opinion. I want 18 or 16 because then it helps those smaller teams be even better. They have to always
Yeah.
push to stay up. But I don't think you can completely throw it out the window.
What should be reconsidered is from the semifinal, let's say, of the Champions League, right? You'll have 4 teams, and then those 4 teams can qualify to next year's Champions League group, and you have 2 games each, and it'd be 8 games for these top teams to play.
Could be an idea. Anyway, we had to say that. Mike, any questions?
I
Quick?
just want to conclude
Go
us.
through some of the rest of the
Yeah,
scores
quick.
of the week.
I'll just go quickly. Sampdoria beat Hellas Verona, who are on a
down.
9-game unbeaten streak, and Sampdoria were in relegation zone. They pop out with Genoa, who are also close to
And they were
relegation
losing.
zone. So now they're a couple points above. Udinese tied with Fiorentina at Udine, I was pretty surprised with that. And
DePaul was running riot at one point. I was watching. him.
we know DePaul is like the captain there, and he's their best player. I don't know how much longer he'll stay there. And the earlier game we didn't talk about, Parma lost to Spal, which was very weird because Spal is dead last in the table. Now they're second and last, and Parma had a few chances to score. I was surprised that they couldn't even get a point out of that.
Any questions?
But let me move on to some questions. Okay.
say their names.
We'll
So
say quick. Yeah, this one's from Mario. He said, "Do you guys think Inter out of the Scudetto race? Yes or no? No.
By far, by far.
By far.
They were never in.
Come on. P.
No.
no,
Marco?
no, it doesn't change too much.
I
Okay.
think they're dead.
Another one
We're not
from
dead yet.
Borelli. He says, "How does Sarri keep his job? And if he does go, who should Juve get?"
You have to, if he does not get past Lyon, I can't see a way that he continues his job.
Okay, wait, but I'm
Well,
saying,
you know how he keeps his job if the league gets canceled and Champions League gets
But
canceled.
let me ask you a question. If he goes past Lyon, he has job security. You're saying for the season?
No, he's
Or
saying
what?
he win-
I'm
if he
asking
win-
you.
if
At
he
the
wins-
end of the
if he
season,
wins-
he's going to be sacked regardless.
If he wins the league, and depending on how you go out of Champions League, that will determine.
What's the lowest he has to go?
I mean, listen,
What?
if you get a very tough team and it's
Okay.
balanced, but if you get embarrassed, like you would be embarrassed to go out against Lyon, again, with all due respect to Lyon, yes.
I would say even if Sarri wins
And
the
if a
Champions
good
League-
opportunity arises.
Listen, even if Sarri wins the Champions League, I
No,
think he's going to be
no.
sacked.
If he wins the Champions League, he's staying.
Let
Come
him
on,
win the
who you
triplete
kidding?
and sack him.
Pete, what do you think about that? What does he need to do his minimum to stay for next season?
I don't know. It depends on the board because in the end, Nedved I know is not the biggest offense of Sarri. They wanted Guardiola before. Guardiola now seems like he'll
Agnelli's
be
not a big fan of
available.
Sarri either.
Might be available. They might
The
boot
opportunity.
Sarri out, even like you said, even winning Champions League.
not winning
But I
Champions
mean,
League. You can't win Champions League and kick him out.
what I'm trying to say is, it all depends on who's available.
Yeah.
And if
And,
Guardiola's not available, they're gonna stay with Sarri, even if losing to Lyon.
Guardiola or
Wow,
Zidane,
even
yeah.
losing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting. Next one from our boy Sebastian. Are you guys still confident with your preseason predictions of the table? Just roughly.
Yeah, I
Confident?
had Juventus on top.
So did I.
Completely wrong. Lazio, I didn't give them enough
Me
respect.
neither.
I
Me
put
neither.
Lazio in Champions League.
I put Lazio not in Champions
Yeah, I
League.
put Lazio.
I'm so,
I don't think I
I'm
put,
so
I put
ashamed
Roma
of
in fourth
myself.
place. And I'm very
Well,
disappointed in
Roma
myself.
could. Oh, you're saying it
No,
bad.
yeah, I didn't put Lazio in fourth place.
Yeah, I didn't put
did.
Lazio. Me neither.
I'm very
I feel-
disappointed
And I
in
put
myself.
Napoli in top four.
I
also.
wanted-
I put them in third.
I wanted
Listen,
to.
I don't remember about what I predicted. I don't even
Don't
remember
worry,
what
we
I
got
had
you.
for breakfast this morning. So
I didn't even eat breakfast.
I'll tell you what, for AC Milan's from the AC Milan standpoint of view, I'm happy the way we are
Keep going,
because we
Mike.
didn't spend a lot of money.
So
We
AC
didn't,
Milan.
Nothing is happening for us. It's another.
As long as
it's
you don't go to
another
City of
year-
B again.
It's
Year
another
zero.
year like it's gray. It's not black. It's not white. It's something gray that is still transitioning. And
Okay.
next question.
Next one from Vera. He says, "Should Pjanic be benched more often, or was this just like a one?"
I don't know all the things that are happening in the locker room.
Yes
but
or no? Just based
I
on.
mean, I don't have
what you
context.
know.
I
I
don't
know.
have-
Based on what you know, which
I don't have
isn't a
context
lot.
of what's
Listen.
happening. I don't know if he was actually hurt or if it was a tactical reason, but based off the way that Juventus played, Juventus also played good against Inter in the first game with Pjanic
That's true.
on. So it's hard to say.
Yeah, Pjanic, as from what I think, is he's most fitted to play Sarri's system in that midfield because he's the technical ability to, like Jorginho was with Napoli. So the only thing is Pjanic has to buy into what Sarri wants.
Pjanic looks so uninterested sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you watch him play and
But
he's
he's
like,
not. He's not involved like he
mean,
used to be in the.
the guy doesn't
previous
wanna be there.
years.
But you know
Yeah.
why? You know why? Because this guy, this Sarri, is another stiff that he says, okay.
Mike, next
no,
question.
no, let me say it.
All right,
Next
all
question. He's a stiff.
question.
okay.
He's a stiff.
Stiff
okay?
like his cigarette.
You know, players of that caliber, like Cassano, like they don't buy into the philosophy of this bunch of losers that they do 4-3-3-2 or 4-3-1-2, 4-4-2 or 3-5-2. Those are champions. You just let them play the way they know to play.
Mike.
Okay, forget about Sarri.
Okay. Well, two more questions. If it's a little long. Okay. If we, this is a hypothetical. If we all agree on this, let's say it would happen or whatever.
Okay.
Do we have a deal? Someone says. This one's from Ali. Do we have a deal?
Deal.
Juve win UCL. Inter wins Europa League and Coppa Italia, and Lazio wins
Deal.
the Scudetto.
Deal.
What's a
Deal.
UCL, by the way?
Champions.
Champions
League.
Oh, Champions League.
Deal, 100%.
Wait. Okay.
Wait,
Deal.
say again,
Juve Champions League, Inter wins Europa League and Coppa Italia, and Lazio wins the Scudetto.
No,
100%.
Wow, Anto, you're gonna ruin it for the
no
rest of
way, no way.
I mean, I know this guy will take it at this point.
Yeah. Why are you giving all that stuff to this guy?
Ali saying it over.
Where's Milan?
You wouldn't take that.
Okay, Juve wins UCL, Inter wins nothing,
And Lazio wins
and
the league.
Lazio wins the league.
And who wins Coppa Italia?
I'll win. And I'll
Not in it. We'll win it.
Okay, and last one from this is an interesting one. I love Kiri. It's not. It's more of a it's a question. Ask Antonio if he wants a Maldini jersey in the studio so I can send it.
Oh, boy.
So he's asking you.
Oh, sure. Maldini would never refuse Maldini's shirt.
Is
Wow.
it signed?
I'm not sure. I gotta ask him.
That would be
I'll
good.
respond to him.
Guys, we
guys,
said
yeah.
anything you want.
I actually met Maldini personally through with Gaetano at the airport. I think he's a spectacular
Marco.
guy. He's a spectacular guy. I'll tell you, he's one of the nicest guys that you want to meet. He makes you feel like you're his best friend.
Hey.
It's like you know him for 20
He
years.
called security on you.
Very, very, very down. You know.
Down to earth.
That's good to
Down to
know.
earth.
Maybe
Yes.
I mean he's gonna have a lot of downtime now, so maybe he can come for our podcast.
This what happened when you're a great champions and you put yourself on the same level of an average guy like Mike, for example.
What does Maldini know?
Okay.
Okay.
So Maldini,
Bash Maldini again.
I didn't
Again.
bash him.
Okay.
I did not.
Keep going,
bash him.
Mike.
Let me see if I'm.
Come on, there's gotta be
Get
some
one
more.
more.
These were good.
We'll take
They're nice and quick.
for Maldini. We will take Zanetti out of that wall and we'll put Maldini right there on the other side.
Easy.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, someone said the fairest way. We kind of talked about it, but we didn't say it. Fairest way to declare the winner of the Scudetto. The fairest way, if you had to pick one.
I don't choose anybody, honestly.
But if you-
even
so
as
just
a Juve
end it?
fan, I wouldn't give. I don't like
Me?
Take a name out of the hat.
No.
Milan's gonna end up winning it.
I'll tell you. I will pick Lazio for the way and Atalanta if for the second for the way they display how to play soccer on the
That's
field.
funny.
Most beautiful game to watch.
But the thing is, even if Lazio would win it like this, it still wouldn't feel like a win. I don't think for anybody it would feel like a win. Maybe Peter and his fans,
Yeah, okay.
they'll think that it's a
Yeah,
win.
Juventus
They're used to the
talking.
cardboard one.
Juventus was the first team that they won when there was a war. They won the Scudetto that year. When there was all these problems, they won.
I mean, we win it a lot, so if
The
we don't
only
gotta win
team
it this
that
year,
won
it's all right.
without rubbing anything from anybody
AC Milan.
is AC Milan.
Yeah,
Get it on your head.
two Serie B
Get it on
championships
your-
also.
Oh, loser.
I think you know what would be fun? You know what would be fun?
Wow.
This would be really fun if they could figure out to do a playoff style with the top
Like
four,
MLS?
with the top three, because top 3 or 4 of who wins the Scudetto. I know it kind of
It's
doesn't
different.
count.
It's
I know
American,
it's different,
but
but
it's kinda
that would
cool.
kind of be fun just for this year.
It's like a mini tourney.
Hopefully the league stays on and we could finish it. Hopefully, but
Hoping the best for tomorrow. Hopefully the meeting goes well and they somehow continue, even though it does look negative right now.
it seems like at least a month is going to be.
But
canceled.
listen again.
Okay.
If somebody of these big leagues are watching, playing the game on closed door, it's the safest thing that you can actually
Yeah,
hope for.
but the problem
you do
is-
not, Pete. You do not want to cancel a season. You want to throw everything
Yeah, but
upside down.
Antonio, the thing is, these players are going from one area to another area. While they're walking in the street, what do you
hotels.
think? There's not gonna be people they're gonna take a touch them. They want to, they want an autograph. They want a picture. They want all this stuff.
No,
So
that's-
you're
that is
still
true.
gonna be able to transfer. It's not like you're going over there in a box.
And you
like
go
that,
to
in a bubble, and
hotels,
you go-
airports.
you know,
You know
there's-
what? It makes no sense. You know what makes no sense? I saw this thing that they can't shake hands. The players are not shaking hands
They're
beforehand.
helping each other up.
Yeah, but during the game, they're all jumping at each other. They're
Coughing, sneezing.
like it makes you
Buffon was
sweating on
kissing
each
the ball on his lips.
On his lips. I don't know what you were
I
watching.
don't know what that guy-
Davis was doing to Maradona.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
The thing is, and then did you see the picture of Diletta and I think it was like
they're
Balzaretti?
like-
Yeah.
They were 1 meter. They said you had to stay
3
1 meter.
feet
Are you
away
kidding
from
me?
each
I will take my chance to take the coronavirus with Diletta.
Oh my god. All right.
I don't know
Anyway,
what's wrong with Balzaretti. I don't know.
anyway, guys, as always, thank you for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Rate it with 5 stars.
5 stars, guys, again. And
Don't get the
do
press.
we have any sales on the merchandising or anything
No
like
sales.
that?
Get ready for a drop though.
The drop
Italian
is
Football
coming.
TV and the mail list in the description. Check that out for sure so you don't miss out.
Want to conclude?
Keep doing your homework. If you're not in school, keep studying.
If you're not in school, keep studying.
If you're not in school, keep studying.
Stay on
You have
today.
to-
Stay sharp.
Yeah, you're
Stay sharp.
Don't cough on anyone. Sneeze.
Yes.
You-
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands, review your material.
Change your
and,
teams.
whether you do it via Skype or you're following the school, direction, whether you're not welcome in or you're just going to do the homework from there or you're going to be doing phone conferencing. Just school is number one.
Yeah.
Okay? Actually, while you're doing the homework, you can listen to the podcast and you can rate us regardless with no less than 5 stars, right?
I agree.
All right. So until then, you guys have a great weekend and goodbye.
All right. I'll see you guys. Ciao.
Ciao, guys. Forza Verona.